All right, sorry, that was my mistake. Forgot to turn it on. Okay, so as I was saying, now that I think you can hear me okay. First time I didn't, well, one of the few times I didn't say if you can hear me all right, let me know. But okay, now the sound is working. I lost the whole thing I was going to say. Yes, 27th of September. Welcome back to another daily market analysis. We just saw the yen, the US yen, and yen right across the board spike to the downside, 200 over pips, and still dropping. We're trying to figure out what happened in this video, and also we'll look at the core PCC price index to be released for the US later tonight. And US GDP was released at 3% last night, which brought about some slowdown in that big climb on gold. So, all that, but first, okay, I still feel so super silly. Oh, rambling away with no sound. Um, hey, Serene, how you doing? Hey, Jimmy, good to see you again. Thanks for the chips. Hey, Angel Case, how you doing? Hey, Ronaldo. Um, hey, Jumarinas, good morning. We've got our sound back. We're good to go. Now, let me see. Okay. If you're on the session, do remember drop a message and say hi. I know a lot of you are sitting there watching, but you're not chatting. Do drop a message. Let me know that you're there. Let me know that you're on the session. I like to know just to help me. Well, kind of keeps me motivated to keep going. All right. So chat, say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. And if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. You can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button. Okay, now that that's done, what has happened? I'll show you this first. Oops, no, not that. Okay, that, that. Look at that. Dollar yen. It was trading up, 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 up. I was just telling everyone on Discord, if you're not already on Discord, make sure you join us on Discord. I was just, as it was pushing up, I had my trade, can't remember what price it was at, pushing up, got out, and I had a little arrow there where I got out. This was on a 15-minute time frame. That's what I did. So it went up. I got out at about that point. It was outside of the Bollinger Band, and then it sat there, push, push, push. At 2:15, about 45 minutes before this session, we saw the dollar yen go from 146.20 within 15 minutes down to 143.54. Right? So within that 15-minute, it dropped a total of about 270 pips. It's continued trading lower right now at 320 pips to the downside. I hope that it did not catch any of you with a position. And this again highlights crucially the importance of a stop loss. Importance of a stop loss, right? So because if you were trading that and then it spiked right down, you could have got stopped out at 40 pips, but you would now be sitting on a 300 and what? 300 and 315 pip loss right from the top. Right? So important, big can't remind you enough that of the importance of a stop loss. So do that. The reason behind this big drop, I haven't. Well, it happened about 15 minutes ago, right? In 30 minutes, it ended and pushed down. My first thought was, and I put it in Discord. My first thought was intervention. Intervention. It came right up before it could try that 147 level. They intervened to push it right back down. So my first thought was intervention. Then we saw the news where yen sharply stronger as Ishiba, I guess, Ishiba wins race to become Japan's next prime minister. Okay, which still doesn't make sense to me, right? Which still doesn't make sense to me because a win by Ishiba will likely support market pricing for BOJ rate hikes and Japan and the yen because he leans hawkish on monetary policy. Haven't done anything yet, but they're talking about that pushing back down, right? There was this one. What was the other one I was reading? Okay. So it's also because that Takai, I might be messing the names up, but Takaichi was the vocal candidate that didn't win, and she viewed that the BOJ was hiking rates too quickly. So that was the dovish view. Then the hawkish candidate won, so it spiked the yen right back down. But why it doesn't make sense to me yet at this point is because technically, when you talk about um, when you talk about the central bank and um, the central bank and the government, it kind of the central bank is supposed to operate independently of the government, supposed to act independently of the government. So even if you have a hawkish prime minister, it shouldn't intervene with what the BOJ is likely to do or should be doing. So that's why. That's one reason why I'm looking at it going, yeah, it's a new prime minister, but it shouldn't have that unless it was a new BOJ governor. Ueda leaves for whatever reason, and new BOJ governor, then I would be more, I'll be not that I don't accept this, but I would understand more why the yen spiked down. But for now, the main reason is that we have a new prime minister. I forgot the name already. Ishiba winning the race to be the next prime minister. And he is hawkish. He's a big supporter of interest rate hikes, on tightening of the monetary policy, and that's why we've seen the yen strengthen back down. My approach on, and I'm totally messing up my usual um, format of how I do this session, but I just want to share this with you. My approach when I see this kind of big news, right? This kind of big news is that I'm fortunate I got out at that point right at the top, and it spiked down. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't even try and catch this move to the downside. But I wouldn't catch this move to the downside mainly because he's a prime minister. They haven't done anything yet on monetary policy. His tendencies towards that. No action has been done. This is what you can consider as a bit more speculative, right? So we see that push down. I would say that let that spike down, look for it to possibly bounce back up, or look for reaction. If it goes keep going down, look for reaction down at the support where we've seen it bounce off quite nicely. So if you didn't get into this, don't feel FOMO, fear of missing out. If you're stuck in a position, then I would close it out because you just never know whether it's going to go back down or bounce back up. Okay. Any questions on the how the yen on this sudden crazy yen movement for today? Let me know. Also, that you see it came right up to almost where it was. This was where we started in September, right? September 2nd was right here. So we started on Monday, September 2nd, right there. It came up to where we started from and then came right back down again. So Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if that what I've explained makes sense to you. And while you're doing that, good morning, Diana. How are you doing? Hey, Booba. Hey, Spiros. Good to see you. Okay, now back to normal service. We've just had that on the yen. Yesterday, we had the US GDP at 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8. Final GDP for the US quarter on quarter was released as expected at 3%. All right, as expected at 3%. Previously was 3. Expected 3, got released at 3. Not super good news, not super bad news either. They're doing as they are expected at 3% at 8:30 p.m. What you would have seen was a dollar index at 8. You can see here, I'll take that away. This was, no, why is that gap there? Where am I? Friday, Thursday at 8. There. Okay. You can see with that news, this was the news release here, right? It didn't even bring that much of a move on the dollar index at 3%. At 10 o'clock though, when Chair Powell spoke, or 9:20 when Chair Powell spoke, and then 10 after that, there was no major headlines I didn't notice. Right, it was a pre-recorded session, so I didn't pay any attention to any headlines there. But we did see the dollar push up to test that trend line before early this morning. I don't know why. I've only just noticed this actually. I'm surprised I didn't notice it before. With that big spike down. Why did I notice that? Okay. Anyway, that big spike down, and then now pushing back up and then turning back down. This was likely because of the yen strengthening against the dollar. That's how we see the dollar pushing back down. Now finding that level, pushing back up. Okay. My nose again. Okay. Then tonight we have the core PCE price index for the US, 0.2%, pretty much going to be as expected. Core PCE price index month to month kind of, or usually, stays quite close to forecast, right? So I'm not expecting a surprise here. I'm expecting a 0.2%. It's way too early to consider the whole CME forecast, Fed forecast tool, but you're looking at, right, this was 60 something percent yesterday. It got tuned down to 50. We're still split even, 50-50 chance of a 25 basis point rate cut or a 50 basis point rate cut come from the Fed. So I don't think that there is any craziness. I'm sorry, not that one. I don't think there's any craziness to come from the core PCE price index tonight, unless we see some crazy numbers, but I don't think so. Canadian GDP 0 to 0.1, a little bit of a strengthening, maybe some strength on the CAD. We'll look at that shortly. The main thing, well, not the main thing, one other thing to consider, it is that we're at the end of the week and at the end of a very big month, right? Gold, dollar, we just saw yen, the big retrace. End of the week, end of the month, close to end of the month of a very big month, we're possibly going to see some deep retracements, right? We might see some deep retracements. So that's what's also painting my forecast for today, my bias for today. Now, with that, because it is Friday, we'll look into next week as well. On Monday, we have manufacturing PMI for the Chinese. Preliminary, not too bothered. Canadian holiday, Chair Powell speaking early Tuesday morning. That's to moderate a discussion, not too bothered. Chinese bank holiday. Japanese news, not too bothered. CPI numbers for the Eurozone. JLTS for the US. So it's back to the first week of the month. Is that Golden Week? Let me see. National Day. Yeah, Golden Week in China. So we have ADP on Wednesday next week, followed by the unemployment claims on Thursday, services and PMI for the US, and then on Friday we have the non-farm employment change number. Okay, so next week you can see that on Friday it's US heavy. On Thursday it is also pretty much US news. Wednesday it will be US news as well. Yeah, not much else. Then on Tuesday, JLTS and manufacturing PMI US news as well. And then on Monday, there is a little bit of news, but not too bothered, right? So it's going to be quite US heavy next week, right? US news heavy next week. That's also going to help that the dollar index now seems to be stuck along this range, right? Since it came into pretty much in this whole range between 100.20, which was the max that we saw from Wednesday, and 101 has been in that range. It came down to this point, tested and bounced, so it's been stuck in this level. I think next week is possibly going to bring about some better directional bias, or develop a better directional bias. My hair's sticking out. Develop a better directional bias for the dollar index. Okay, so we'll look into that. And a big reminder to everyone is that also I haven't had any private streams for the elite navigators on the YouTube members, but next week for sure we'll be doing a non-farm employment change private live stream. So if you are not already a elite navigator, that little button there that says join, click on that, go be an elite navigator. You get access to that live stream when we do it on Friday next week. And also, I'll just, while I'm rambling on, just to let you all know, after next week, I'm going to take a short break on the live streams because on the 6th of October onwards, I'll be in Dubai for quite a long time. Then on the 13th of October, for everyone who is in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in the UAE, or want to travel there, I am doing a 3-hour session. I'm doing a masterclass on that. I'll send you all the link. I'll put it into the chat later. Please join if you're in the session, or if you know anyone who is in the area and might want to join, send that to them as well. Okay? Now, let's go. All fundamentals and news all done. Let's talk about the dollar index. Okay, here we are. Hey Noachuku, how are you doing? Hey Stefan, hey AYJ, good morning. Now, here we are, dollar index. Bounced around, so we were looking for it to bounce around, hold that trend line, and then push down towards that 100.60 level. Right, we say it needs to break 101 above that bearish trend line to trade up, needs to break 100.80 to trade down. It broke 100.80 and traded down to 100.50 and then retraced back up. So that is done. We saw that move. I had a couple of trades, but off the top of my head, I don't remember it anymore. Now, are you just to share, just to ask away, is a lot of times I get into my trades, I'm watching it. Once I close my trade, I don't remember, the price I got in at. I don't remember the price I got out at. Are you like that, or do you remember your trade levels right after, all the time. Sometimes even when I get into a trade, if I'm not looking at my screen, I don't remember the price level I got into it. So let me know how do you approach the markets? Okay. Now you can see that from this move up, the dollar index came back down, found 61.8, rebounded back. Just the last hour, found 61.8 again and rebounded back up. I don't think that's rebalancing expectations. Yes, we know that. So now I'm looking at this dollar index. I'm going to be a little bit boring. Boring is good sometimes, but I'm going to be a little bit boring and say that I might not need that all the way. Let's take that down. Just want to catch that. Okay, that trend line is there. Right, the trend line is there. It's been holding. Let's say it started on the 12th of September. It's held on the 19th. It's held on the 23rd. It came close on the 26th. It held on the 26th. It came close again on the 27th. At this point, what I'm thinking, and why I say I think it'll be boring, is that most likely dollar index is going to get up to that 100.90 level or that trend line, and then possibly push back down again to that 100.55 level. I don't see a big reason why it would break that trend line. I don't see a big reason why it would have that big push up, right? So we might see a little bit of a push to the upside now, especially retrace back up. If that trend line holds, I would anticipate to see it trade back down towards this 100.55. If technically tightening down, right? Tightening down into this triangle into next week, where we might see it break out and form a good trend or a reversal trend or continuation. But I'm looking at it tightening down for now. Okay, so that said, today being the 27th, I just realized I rambled on. We're halfway through the session. I haven't got to analysis yet. Okay, a dollar index. It's retracing. Now I'm looking at this. If bearish, price could trade higher to 100.90 to retest 100.90 if held, if bearish trend line held. Could trade back down to 100.55. I just saw Diana's statement highlighting that the euro is crashing back down, is sinking. French and Spanish CPI numbers, not great numbers. Oh, not it's rate numbers. Sorry, not it's rate numbers. So it's showing that inflation is slowing down in the euro, in parts of the eurozone, which might spur the ECB to talk about more rate cut scenarios. That's why we're seeing the euro dollar push to the downside. Give it time. I think we have our level there. We'll still look at that. I'll come back to that. So nothing too crazy at the moment yet. It looks like it's going to be a crazy, crazy Friday. I just want to see what happens here. I'm going to see that develop a move on gold. We've been crazy on gold and now it's gotten a bit quiet. It looks like it's a crazy, crazy Friday. I thought it'd be quiet. I'm excited now. Okay. 27th price could trade higher to retest 100.90. Yes. Bearish trend line held. If bearish trend line held, could trade back down to 100.55. If not, then you have 100, 101 as a key as an interim level to break through. Okay. Then I would also put in this to remind everyone that in that area it's not broken yet, right? Even if it does break that trend line, you want it to break 101 before you would consider if the dollar is going to see further upside. So that's still the first scenario that I want to look for. Okay, now with all that said and done, let's look at Euro still dropping. Okay, that's fine. Jimmy says, me too. Sometimes I forget. Okay, I don't forget I'm in a trade. I just don't remember anything about a trade after. Whenever I'm not looking at the chart, I don't remember anything about it. Angel K says, when I'm out, I'm out. I don't remember too. My focus shifts to the next trade. Fantastic. I like that. Okay, now Kiwi dollar. We looked at this, we said it's going to test and bounce off the trend line to trade higher. It's done that. It didn't get up 70. It got up to about 52. Well, it got up to about 50, some 54 to the upside before trading back down. Why am I on H4? That makes more sense now. Okay. So it came, this was where we were yesterday, right? I was looking for it to trade down. It didn't. It just pushed off. That's why it makes more sense now. Okay, pushed off. Yeah. Happy birthday, Noachuku. I hope you're doing well. Have a fantastic day. I hope you trade well, make good profits. Wishing you all the best. Kiwi dollar traded up, so that's done. Okay, we take that one away. Now at this point here, I see that still being held. Trend line is still up. So now we're anticipating the dollar could push up before turning back down, which means that what I'll be looking for at this point would be for the Kiwi dollar to do this, trade down to the trend line, and then possibly bounce back up towards the resistance. Right, needs to stay above 6260 for sure, but we're looking for it to bounce off the trend. It could even do that. All right, so what you'll be looking for would be 6290, stop loss 20, take profit. You have 40, or 1 to 2 to the upside, and then you also have 60 to the upside as well. Okay, so Kiwi dollar 6290, 0.6290. Stop loss 20, take profit 40 to the upside. Okay, like that. Is it going to retrace 63? Let's see. That's 61. So I'm looking for it to bounce off that 61 back up. It's currently at the 38. Right, okay, so if it stays at this level and pushes up, I might not get into that trade. I would just let it run, let it move. So if it just sits there and pushes higher, I might not do anything. I'll be more keen to see it retrace, test that trend line, and bounce and push to the upside. Okay. Then onto the Aussie dollar. Right, the Aussie dollar, we said look for reaction at 6820 from yesterday. It didn't find 6820. It just sat there and pushed right up. So the channel still can be extended. Right, zoom out, you can see the channel still can be extended even if I took that point and that point there. We have the channel to the upside. 23 doesn't make sense. 23 is broken. That one's done. We have that. Okay. So now zooming in again, looking at the Aussie dollar. I think the Kiwi, we're going to wait. There is a chance we'll wait a little bit longer for it to retrace back down before it pushes back up. The Aussie, what we could be looking for is that it sits there, right? It sits here and then pushes to the upside. So no retrace, looking for it to push up. You'll be looking for it to break that resistance 6905. Stop loss would be 15. Take profit, you'll be looking at 50 to the upside. Test bounce go up, yes, that's fine. I just don't see that 50, but we'll look for that. So we look at the Kiwi to retrace and push. We look for the Aussie to push up that way. 6905 to buy at 0.6905. Stop loss 15. Take profit 50 to the upside. $50 to the upside. Okay. Yeah. Then that makes sense. Okay. Then onto the pound dollar. All right, did nicely. So it was sitting right there and then pushed up 1.3360, pushed right up. Could have been a 60 pip move to the upside. Let me know if you got into that trade. Didn't break lower. That level is still holding. Now, I didn't get into this pound trade, although it worked out very well. I closed out on gold last night before the news. I had a quick trade on yen to the downside last night, closed out before the news. Didn't trade the news, I was busy with stuff. And then that was it. And then a yen trade early this morning, which I closed out. Okay, so now onto pound. What you notice here is this, a double, double top, all right? At a nice level of 1.3440. Right, a nice level at 1.3440. This is on H4 time frame. You can see it pushing back down. Now back to the H1 time frame, what I would say is if we see a big return in strength on the dollar that way back up, then we might see this push down. Apart from that one, there are no other big news. So looking at a pound dollar, I'm so tempted to say that if it breaks, we can look for a big move to the downside. That's what I'm most tempted to say. But this has been a very big or relatively strong level, right, at 1.33. So the logical one would be to think that it might come down and bounce back up. But I'm thinking that there's a double top. We're coming, if it does drop down to this area and it does break that level, looking at the dollar strength scenario, could we be looking at 1.3290? Stop loss would be about 25 pips above that support. Take profit, you would come down 75 to the downside towards the 50% level. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm torn between these two. Right? I think that that could be the scenario. I think that that could be the scenario where if it breaks the trend line, it comes down to the support, it could bounce back up. But I would like to see that move down. Okay. While we're looking at that, the euro is also breaking. So what I might consider here is that we look at the pound to possibly bounce, and then look for the euro to possibly break. Oh wait, let's have both then. Okay. 1.3290. Let me put that in first. Sell 1.3290. Stop loss 25. Take profit 75. Okay, stop loss 25. Take profit 75. If the support holds, then I'll be looking at a bounce off the support at 1.3340. Stop loss again will be about 25. Take profit could go back up to 80. I'll put that a little bit bigger. 30 to 80 up there. So 1.3345, 30 to 80. If the support holds, then we look to buy at 1.3345. Stop loss 30, take profit 80 to the upside. So it really depends on what's going to happen on the pound at this support level right here. Okay? Good, good. Nachuku, tell us how you're going to celebrate your birthday. Okay, then onto the euro. We saw that test and bounce. I think Jimmy said that he got into that trade and closed out at a profit overnight. So that was fantastic. Take that away. Now that it's done that and it's breaking this level of 61.8 and this point here at 1.1130, we're looking for it to break down. Wait, let me do this. I don't need that level. I have that. Okay. Where is 50 here? 50 is right there. All right, so if it breaks down from this point, what I would be looking for would be actually 1.1115. I want a slightly wider stop at 30. I want to see whether it's going to come all the way down. 65. I don't see it coming down all the way though. I got 65 with a hesitation at about 1.11. No. I think that's why I'm hesitating is I'm thinking that because if you look at it there, it's outside of the Bollinger. Right? It's outside of the Bollinger. So what I'm thinking it could do is push or sit around there bounce back up, and then look for it to break down. But if it breaks down here, I think that it could rebound before doing that, and then down again, right? So I don't think that the euro is going to be a straightforward move. Nice 45 pips, Jimmy. I don't think it's going to be a straightforward move to the downside on the euro. Could be entirely wrong. Could be like what we saw on Wednesday night, where in that 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, it basically had a tweezer top, and then it went down, right from there to there, within the 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, a good 65 pips, overall a 70 pip move to the downside, right? So I would, especially being a Friday towards the end of the month, I'm on a risk adverse mode, securing the percentages from the month, and it's been a big month. So what I would do instead would be on the euro. I wouldn't do anything in the middle. I would look for it to break 1.1. 1.11. All right, I'll look for it to break 1.11, then 1.1190. I would have 25, and I would try for a good 80 pip move to the downside. You could trade in the middle of this, right? You could trade it down, but I think that if it can break this level, I don't like it though. I see downside on the euro, but I don't see it moving that quickly today. Right? I don't see it moving that quickly today. That's why I'm hesitating on this. 38.2, 50. I'm just thinking if it breaks 50, trend line. My best guess would be that I wouldn't do anything in the middle there. So I'll be looking at 1.109025 to 80. But I don't see the 80 pip move. That's why I want to put that a bit further away. I want the momentum to drag it down. 1.1090. Stop loss 20, 25. 25, take profit 80. 80 to the downside. Okay. Right. So, and that would also mean that we want to see a big push up on the dollar. Like the pound dollar, we might see this do that as well. Right? Test that 50 level and then push back up. So there could also be that potential back up as well. But we're going to look at that. Telly Media, what's your view on oil? We'll have a look at that shortly. Then on to the yen. Right, yen, we explained all that, what happened here, spiked down, we know why. Bollinger Band, it's slightly outside. I think that we don't need this trend line now that is broken. Okay, this one here, we have that now. This one here, we have that. And you have 50% right there. So it shot right down. You would say that it cleared some of that gap there. Came right back down to 50 and it's pushed back up. Oh, it's sitting there now. Okay, so that one's done. We've done that already. Take that away. That's 50 is holding. Let me check this level. 141 makes sense, but I want to catch this. So I'm going to take that one and change it around. I just want to look at 141 there. So that's where it swung from, which is about 140. Right? So I check H4 to see where's my 141. I don't need that. Take that away. Okay, so I'm looking at that point there, which is about 140. So now back to the H1 time frame, looking at the dollar yen, right? Where we're seeing it bounce. We're seeing it bounce slightly right now. That's 2 o'clock, spike down. You saw that come down. Now it's pushing back up. I think that if it doesn't, so that's the 50 level. All right. So dollar yen is sitting right there now at 143.33. If, and I don't think roller coaster day amid yen elections, I don't think we'll see that break. We could see it bounce. Okay, so what we'll see here, looking at the dollar, yen has been pretty much independent, slightly independent of the dollar for now. I think that you wouldn't be looking for that upside on the dollar yen unless it breaks past this 144.50 level. Right? Only if it breaks past this point, you look for it to push back up. In this area, I wouldn't do anything. If it breaks down from this trend line and that 143 level, right? 50 is just nice at a 143 level, then you could look for it to come down to retest the support. Between these two, I think that it's going to rebound slightly. I think that it's going to rebound. It's going to look like it's going to recover. And then after that, it's going to come back down. Oops. And then do that. So we're going to see what happens there. Okay. Needs to stay below 144.50. So yen, if you're looking to sell it down, right, we're looking at sell at 143. No, 142. 142.50. 142.60. Stop loss would be about 60 pips. Take profit could be 200, and it's had a big move already. It's had a big move already, so I'm not super keen on this. No, I'm gonna say stay away from the yen at this point. I'm gonna say stay. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say yen is gonna range between 143 and 144.50. Could range 143 to 144.50. What I would be looking to do is to follow with that trend to buy it back up. It's dropped a lot. So I'm just thinking if it recovers, you're looking at 145, you're back up to 147, which is your 200 pip move. You're looking at a 50 pip stop that way. Okay, so yen looking to buy at 145. 50 to 200. 200. There we go. Okay. Um, yeah, analysis today is not easy at all. There's some days, I'm just rattling off. Think, it looks straightforward. I think I know what's going to happen. Today just seems to be all over the place. Roller coaster, like what they said um, here. Well, roller coaster day. All right. So looking for that. Then on to the euro yen. We talked about this. I think Ronaldo was on the euro yen from yesterday, so I hope you made a good trade on that. As the same, it went up, hit a take profit, spiked out, and then came right back down. All right. Now at this point here, take this away and this all the way up. We have 61 right here. Don't need that level, and I don't need that level. Okay, and we have that taken away. Right, so now looking at this, it's sitting on the support here at 159.56 or 55, which nicely coincides at that 50% level. Out of the Bollinger, so I'm anticipating it sits there, it might bounce back up a little bit before pushing back down. Euro dollar is showing some downside potential. Yen is being undecided at that point. Euro yen could push down. You would only look to buy, because we're looking to buy the yen, the US yen up. We're going to cover our bases. We're going to think, what if the euro drops? What if the yen drops? Then the euro yen would drop. Then we'll look at 159, below 158, so 159.90. I can't get the number there. 159.90. Stop loss would be 60 pips. No, that's too wide. Your take profit is big. Take profit could be huge. 61 doesn't make much sense. Okay, I'll be looking for that. 158.90. Stop loss, you're going to have to size down because your stop loss is quite wide on this at 80 pips. 61 don't make sense. Your take profit, I'll put it down to this point here. So that's what I'll be looking for on the euro yen, is that if it sits there, it might do that, then break, then that down. You'll be looking at 158.90, 158.90, 159, 80 pip stop, 180 pip to the downside. Okay, then on to pound yen. I think Sirin was on this. I hope you closed out your trade. It did perfectly to the move to the upside, right? 167 pip move to the upside, done and dusted. Take all that away. Remember how I've been waiting to try and sell the pound yen down? 38.2 right now. Right there. It's doing the same thing as the euro yen. So it's tested and rejected. We're looking at a pound dollar with that reaction there. It looks like, I'm getting a little bit concerned. Hang on a second. 143.30. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now I was just getting concerned, like, why am I not seeing any of the prices move after the big spike? Everyone's like holding their breath, right? So, um, just looking at that pushing down on the pound yen. 61.8 would be interesting there. So might bounce around, could retest, so it could do that. Then I'm looking for that, right? So I'll be looking for that down 190.80. Stop loss would be about 80 pips. Take profit would be down 217, 220 to the downside. Just be very uncomfortable, telling you guys about the US yen and the euro yen and the pound yen just because of that big move. Just be super careful about that. It's dropped and it's just sat right there. And I've seen it so many times that the next moment it just goes right back up that way, right? So just be super careful especially on the yen pairs. It's not necessary that it's going to push all the way down. And like I was saying, it's a new prime minister. I don't think it's going to have a sustained move. So just be careful with that. Okay. Then onto the US Swiss franc, didn't push up enough. Take that away. Sitting right there, looking like it might push down. Remember, we just had the Swiss National Bank with their decision, and this is where we were yesterday, pretty much in that same area. Swiss, I said, do nothing for now. I would still maintain because it's pretty much, this is where we were yesterday, pretty much in the same level. So do nothing is just in the middle of those two. Although I do think that there's some downside, but I don't think it's worth trying to trade that downside on the US Swiss franc. Then onto the US CAD. Remember here, news tonight, GDP for the CAD 0 to 0.1, some strength expected. Core PCE price index could have the volatility, but I don't think it brings that much because the Fed decision is still on the 7th of November. So what I'm actually looking out for here on the US CAD, on the loonie, would be that it does this, right? So it pushes up, it tests that 38.2 and rejects it back down. So it does that, and then we see that push, that push back down. So that's where I would be looking at about 1.3485. 1.3480. Stop loss would be about 25. Take profit you have down to this point, which is 60 pips. That's not my resistance level. That should be a support level. All right, and I would say that's my support level now. That's an interim level that we'll consider. What's happening? Okay. There we go. So CAD, I'll be at 1.3480, 25 to 60 to the downside. Anticipating some CAD strength, anticipating that the dollar could push back down off that bearish trend line. So I'm looking to sell at 1.3480. 80, yes, 25 to 60. 25, take profit 60. Now on to gold. Right, gold. Yesterday I was looking at break 2670 to trade up to 2700. If you caught my YouTube shot, I was just trying something, calling a possible 2800, 23,000. It could get there. It's possibly not going to get there in a rush. Right now, gold is trend. Take that one away. Trend line is there. We don't actually need the trend line anymore. Doesn't make sense. Sitting right across, could trade down slightly. Needs to stay above. I would like to sell it down. I just can't find my. Right, I'm looking at the daily time frame and I'm seeing that cross, which could push it down, but I don't see it yet. Maybe not this week. Maybe next week we shall see. You can see also that it doesn't push it down that much. Right, when it crosses, it kind of, because it's a trending up and a cross down, so it just pretty much makes it consolidate slightly. Right, so even on H4 is crossing down. I'm looking at gold coming down to test this area. I might start sizing down just to try, sizing it right down, right down, and then if it breaks this support, I'll try and put in a sell and then see whether we can catch the move down. But I'm looking for a reaction at 6.4, 26.40, 26.52. So nothing on gold at the moment, but it's likely could retrace down to 26.40, 26.52 range. Look for reaction there. Okay. Then on to oil. Spoke about this back then. I think we're saying that it's going to come down. It's sitting 67 point, about 67.8. I saw that we have crude oil inventories or price next week. I don't usually look at oil, so, and you all know that, so just bear with me. OPEC meetings next week on the 2nd. I would say that if it fails to break above this area here, we're possibly going to see a move back down to 65.4. A lot of other uncertainties and things to consider on crude oil. I don't like to look at it just on a technical basis. I think that there are other drivers to it. So main thing I'm looking now based on technical only is if it fails to break 69, we could see it, or it fails to break this support turned resistance level, then we could see it push back down. But I don't see why it would get back down to 65 either. If anything, it should be pushing up. So it's a bit counterintuitive at the moment. It's at the 61.8 level as well. Okay, so with all that said, please remember, if you are entering any trades, it is quite a volatile event right now. Please trade well, trade safe, have a fantastic weekend ahead. And if you know anyone who might be interested, or even if you are, I've seen a couple of you have signed up already. So even if you are keen on this, do check it out. It is live in Dubai. Right, just to remind everyone, it's not a live stream. It's not a stream, it's not online. It's live in Dubai. So link is there. Check it out. If you're in the area, come join me. Let's catch up. Let's meet up. I would love to catch up. Remember, help me smash that like button as well. And I'll see you all next week. Take care now. Bye bye. Oh, am I looking at the wrong camera? Yeah, I'll see you all next week. Take care now. Bye bye. I'm all over the place today. Take care. Bye bye.